Morning. Good morning, people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Walk and Talk. It is Tuesday, people. It is now 4:42 in the morning. This is Oluropo. Thank you for being here. Let's get up, people. Let's get excited. Let's get into the day. Let's get into our life. Let's get motivated. Let's get ready to push. Let's get ready to grow. Let's get ready to do the things that we have told ourselves that we're determined to do, that we're excited to do, that we are ready to do. Let's have a great day this morning, people. As you check in, as always, make sure you drop where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are. As you know, I'm on the East Coast. It is 4:42 in the morning. Today is Tuesday. I am real. This is not AI. And this is actually live. So thank you for being here this morning, guys. Much appreciation. I'd like to say to everyone who has been a part of helping make this channel grow, helping the channel reach its current subscription threshold of 2440, and we're pushing. We need about 60 more subscribers at last check to hit 2,500. So thank you again, guys. Thank you for being here. Let's get started today. Let's be bold. Let's be brave, people, and let's make it happen. Join me on this walk. We're headed up to the top of the hill. You guys know where we start. Let's get to it. Please let me know if there are any audio issues. Through the chat. If I don't see anything in the chat, which has happened, then we may have other issues. But again, thank you for being here. Welcome to the walk, people. Today, as always, we're going to encourage growth. We're going to encourage development, understanding where we are and where we're going. Before you guys ask, I am not homeless. So, I know to some of you, I may fit the model or the mold, but I'm not. But bless your hearts for caring. Let's have some fun this morning. As always, when you check in, let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know what time of day it is where you are. Seasons changing. It's got some Midwest farm smells out here this morning. Our topic this morning is going to be about debt, people. How should we handle our debt? What should we do? What does it mean? How is it structured? What is the importance of knowing how to handle that debt? What is the disciplined way of being able to overcome debt so that it is not crippling or destructive? Here's the little scene from the top of the hill. Enjoy it if you will. And let's walk, people. So, What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean to handle debt like a business? What is that? Axel? I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what that says, Axel. You got to translate that for me. Is that a scientific phrase that I'm not familiar with? Thank you for being here, though. Thank you for the comment. In handling debt, guys, with everything we talk about, and the reason we're here this morning on BNV Finance Fixers is to actually delve into taking care of debt, handling it appropriately, looking at what's happening in our life and figuring out what our next steps would be. Here's the thing I'm going to tell you right now. You have to start to handle debt like a business. We cannot continue to handle debt like individuals and expect to have the same type of return on investment in our lives that businesses do. Because debt is designed for growth. It's not designed to consume. When you hear consumer index, consumer report, consumer mindset, threshold, all of those things are talking about you if you use credit to make purchases versus using leverage. Now, there's a process of going from credit to leverage. They're similar, but not the same. But you have to understand how to move from one to the other. We're going to discuss that this morning on how to handle that process, because debt does not have to be your downfall. Hussein, welcome from Iraq. Good morning, bless you. Goodwill, do you believe, I don't even know what that is. Hussein said hi, hello. Harris, outdoors, be your own debt collector. You're with it, Harris. Good morning, folks. You're already on it, Harris. Let me find out. Did you see, did you already know what I was going to say? Lazarus, good morning. You do need to be your own debt collector. Freaking deer. Y'all don't understand how close I am to these daggone deer in the morning. Woo! They run. Man, I'm walking down this sidewalk and they run down this sidewalk. I'm not scared. Listen, don't be scared. I'm not scared, but I'm aware. Black World Order. I don't know, you gotta tell me more about it, but not particularly. Not something, not an organization or movement that I'm currently aware of or a part of. But good morning, Bruce. What's going on, Bruce? From Fort Worth. You on that third floor balcony, west facing. Ain't nothing to see right now. Dark skies and stars. You said back to the regularly scheduled. Dude. Oh my goodness. The troll's not here right now. They're not here right now. Ruggins dropped right in. Up early, we are every morning we are. Isaac, so inspiring that you're taking a walk so early in the morning. Thank you. Goodwill said, how many? Oh my goodness. So guys, let's focus on what we were saying. In the day this morning, we're talking about debt, how to handle it. And someone just commented, be your own debt collector, right? So when we start talking about being your own debt collector, we start talking about handling debt correctly. As I just said, you have to start to handle debt like a business. We have to stop handling debt like consumers, because when we handle debt like consumers, we amass things that depreciate. Everything that we get through our credit has a decreased value and it doesn't add value, right? So here's what you have to understand, and I'm gonna use a very simple example. If you purchase a television for your house to watch the Super Bowl or watch whatever sporting event because your local team did very well this year and you want to be a part of the celebration, and you invite your family and friends over and you watch that game and you don't return that TV after the game. Listen, I know there's a lot of communities. Listen, this is not a black only thing. If you don't take that TV back and be like, nah, it didn't work. Nah, I thought it was going to be different. You owe these people money. That TV is immediately worth less after that game than it was when you bought it. You immediately are walking out and if you try to sell it to someone, you're taking at least a 40 to 60% hit on what you paid for it because it's not an investment. You're not making money off of it. It's not designed for you to make money off of it. It's designed for you to watch. And so if you're purchasing things to consume, what you have to consider, what we have to take in mind is that when we're consumers, right, like consuming food, when we consume it, it turns to waste. When we take it, it becomes waste. It does not maintain value. The value that it provides for us is temporary, and we have to repeat that process over and over again, right? So how do we change that? Well, first we have to change the way we spend. This is why budgeting is important. We have to know the difference between what we want and what we need, right? I'm not saying you can't get things you want. I'm just saying there's a way you can get the things that you want. So the importance and the way that we do that is by understanding that there are actions and steps and considerations we have to make based on our future. This is what it means to live your life like a business. This is what it means to handle debt like a business. One of the biggest things that you can do is don't get in debt. But how do you grow? Well, we need to learn to leverage. How do we leverage? We put our money to work for us before we start to consume it, right? We need to eat to sustain life. I don't know if we need to eat $300 steaks at Ruth's Chris, but eating sounds like a pretty good idea. Excuse me, we can manage that. That is a manageable cost. That just requires for us to take the time to understand the cost that we're going to pay. And then we have to work diligently to stay within that budget. But what I want to do today is I want to explain to you how we can handle debt as individuals like a business and not believe that because we're $20, $30, $100,000 in debt, that it's the end of the world. It is not. It is manageable, but you have to do it with the outcome in mind to never be a consumer again. You have to do it with the intent of changing the outcome in the future and what you do with your money and how you move forward. Let me see, we have cheeseburger, rest. Okay, taking a shot at Charlie, unnecessary. Mwah, said Del Frisco better. Red Lobster still fire. Why are you? Red Lobster is good. Now, me and my wife went to Red Lobster earlier this year, and we had a pretty nice platter. We got a pretty nice meal. Budget-wise, it cost a lot less than it does in some other seafood places we went to. We went on vacation and we went to this seafood place in Boston. I can't even remember the name of it. And I was like, oh, so this is nice. Their prices are up there. And we got finished eating and we both sat there and looked at each other like, you wanna go to Wendy's? Are you still hungry? I'm but at any rate, listen, so we have to make sure that we're taking the right steps for the right reason, right? So Philip says, I'm terrible with money, impulse buy, a lot of things. That's a good awareness to have, Philip, right? That's a beautiful awareness to have. Now, we talk about this a lot on everything we do here. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Eitan. A lot of things everything that we do here starts with accountability, right? Self-awareness and self-accountability, and then it builds with discipline. And so when you talk about impulse, you're 100% talking about, hey, I have some areas where my discipline needs to be managed, right? Where my discipline needs to be enforced, and I need to follow a structure. And those are the types of things that you can build with. And today we're focusing on debt, but the 4 pillars of discipline don't change. The 4 pillars of discipline are quite simply, they're going to be repetition, that you're going to couple with patience, and they're going to work together for you to practice and build the skill, acquire the tools, and then you're going to follow that with consistency, because you cannot be consistent at something to which you do not have the knowledge on how to perform. So many people fail when they try to be disciplined, because they try to establish consistency at the beginning, and you can't be consistent because you're learning, and so you have to go through that process of taking those baby steps. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but you have to continue to do it until you get this process down and it becomes rudimentary, and you can practice it without thought. And then you have to develop perseverance. Perseverance is the thing. It's more than patience. It's those moments where the challenge seems like it's insurmountable, when you feel like I should have already reached the finish line, when you get to those plateaus where you're doing the work and you're just not seeing the growth that you expected to see, and your body and your mind and everything tells you why, tells you quit, tells you it doesn't make sense. It tries to convince you that you're not happy and tell you that your future isn't worth the investment that you're making right now. That's perseverance. You must build it, because when you break through and you get to the other side, and you will break through, you will get to the other side, that is where your perseverance stands. That is where your perseverance shines. And that is where you understand that you can take this discipline and point it at anything and achieve your goal. And I'm telling you from personal experience of having to recover from debt that was huge, and it required help. I had to reach out to family, not to provide me with financial assistance, but to help me to care for my children, to provide me with a place to stay, to help me just to have someone to talk to. It meant something, but I had to go through it because it was a part of my process. It was a part of my growth. And so today, talking about debt, I want anyone out there who has debt, anyone who's facing it, anyone who's approaching this, to understand with discipline, we can handle this like a business. And when we handle it like a business, we change our lives. We change what we're doing now, and we change what we're going to do in the future. And the example I'm going to use today is a large rental car company that almost went out of business during COVID. Does anybody know what rental car company almost went out of business during COVID? There are quite a few of them out there. Can anybody here think of what that company is? Who's that? Paint more? Match investing for every dollar I spend on food. That's a good investment strategy. Philip says, very true. I feel like I lost that structure. Go to bed at 3 a.m., wake up at noon. Ooh. Is that for your job? You got it, Philip. Hertz. It was Hertz. Guess how much Hertz was in debt, guys? In 2020, right? Now listen, any of you who are football fans know over the last 3 to 5 years, all you've been seeing is Tom Brady talk about how much he loved Hertz. Like Tom Brady ever rented a car from Hertz. Listen. Look at me. Hey, check me out right here. Look. Tom Brady ain't renting no cars from Hertz. Good commercials, but he ain't renting no cars from Hertz. So here's the thing. It was Hertz. Max says, Amazon be like, you have a booger, my guy. Really? I'ma check. Did I clear it up? That might just be my mustache. Goodwill said, what are you talking about, Goodwill? All right, you and Mac 47, y'all talk about that. So now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that we're talking about. Hertz was $19 billion in debt. $19 billion in debt. And they aggressively handled it. They was like, hey, ain't nobody traveling. Ain't nobody renting no cars. I'm like, we're losing money. We gotta make some changes. And they went to the people who they owed money to, and they was like, yo, you ain't getting it. Let's talk. Let's talk. People like, man, you owe us money. He was like, okay, and? Like right, you see, it's like there's some gangster movie where this guy's like, yo, man, you owe me money. He was like, yo, get it in blood. He was like, you gonna take it? What you gonna do? He was like, what? Like, you kill me, you ain't gonna never get paid. What's up? You wanna talk about this? Or are we gonna kill each other? Because if you kill me, I can't pay you. If you kill somebody I love, I'm definitely not paying you. And if I kill you, you ain't gonna get paid. Let's talk. We have to take a business mindset and understand, one, if we haven't been using debt to grow, if we haven't been using it to build us, if we haven't been using it to create value for ourselves and our future, we need to stop. We need to figure out the appropriate way to use it, the appropriate way to grow it. Now, the next thing we need to do, once we've done that, is we have to start to figure out what we want to do and how to do it. You can call your creditors the same way you call them to say, hey man, can I change my payment date? Can I get a credit increase? Do you guys have any specials? I need to replace my card because it got damaged. The exact way you call to do that, you can call them and say, hey, I'm in over my head right now. Let me know what you got for me. But here's the thing. You have to know what you want, right? So when Hertz went out to restructure their debt, they went to their people and they were like, here's a couple of things we can do. Businesses have different ways that they discuss resolution of these issues. Hertz was like, here's one of the options. I get it, I owe you a bunch of money. I can give you a lump sum of money right now and pay you back. And you take this lump sum and you cancel the rest of what I owe you. That's called buying back your debt. You just buy it back. I get it. I get it. I got a credit card with you. It's $5,000. I'm not gonna get anywhere near $5,000 for you. Here's what I can do for you though. I can give you $1,200. I can give you $1,000 right now. All right, I get like, this is what I got right now and I can pay this and you guys go away. You guys write this off. Because you have to understand, when companies loan you money, they have a business structure where their income is based on you paying them back that money. If you fail to pay them back that money, the companies are gonna say, we took a loss. And they're gonna just subtract it from their profits and reduce the amount of tax that they have to pay on it. Like, they're playing the game, they get where they're at. There's over $60 billion in write-off debt, more than that, every year. Where companies just go and say, yo, we're not gonna get this money back, we're writing it off. I get it, I get it. We're a lending company. We made $340 billion this year. Yeah, we're gonna write 60 billion of it off, right? So the thing that we have to do is we have to understand that all of our work goes towards us making ourselves better structured as a business, making ourselves understand the concept of what we're doing and why we're doing it, so we're no longer just walking around as victims to the process. Now again, it's important to understand there are behaviors we have to undertake. There are things that we have to do to go from being consumers to producers. We'll talk about that. Today we're talking about how to fix that debt issue, how to do it like a business. Next thing you can do is you can simply call your creditors and be like, yo, man, times is tough. Times are tough, let's talk, right? You ain't gotta take me to court. I don't care if you take me to court, because if you push it too far, I'ma just tell you I ain't got it. I'm gonna tell you I ain't got it at all. And you ain't gonna get nothing. Listen, something is better than nothing. And the credit card companies and the people who you owe money to understand it, unless you owe money to Kevin because you and him had an agreement and you ain't come through. Like, I don't know, Kevin may bust knees or you made a bad bet in Vegas. You took the you took the over when you should have took the under. Listen. I'm not talking about that type of debt. Y'all need to stay away from that type of debt. I don't know how you're gonna fix that debt, but what I'm talking about is when you have creditors, when you have people who you have to pay bills to. You need to understand people who loan money don't want the things you got with your money. People who loan you money to get a car don't want your car. They don't want it. People who loan you money to get a house, but keep in mind in the United States, all loans come from the federal government. They're just underwritten and managed by banks. The money to buy houses doesn't come from the banks unless you go through a private lender. That's a whole other different thing. Here's the thing though. Here's what I'm trying to share with you. When you start looking at what's happening with your money, what you're doing with it, and the people who say that you need to pay them back, they want the money, right? The moment they give you the card, they make money, right? Let's look behind the scenes. Let's take a little look behind the scenes to better understand how they make money. The moment they loan you $500, they loaned 1,000 other people $500. They have $500,000 in loans. They can now say, I have $500,000 coming to me. I have it coming back, plus I'm going to get interest on it. They can in turn to another company and say, hey, I have these $500,000 in loans. I don't want to wait for this money to come back. We're trying to expand the business. I will sell these $500,000 in outstanding debt to you for $100,000 because you're willing to wait longer for the money. Cool, boom, sells it. If it's bad debt that they know they're not going to collect and it's already in that collections process, they go further than that. They be like, listen, I got $500,000 in bad debt and people who are not going to pay me back. I know it's a process to get it back. I sell it to you for a dime on the dollar. Which means if you have a $500 credit card that they're selling a dime on the dollar, what's that? 50 bucks? Is that how much that is? 50 bucks for a $500 credit card at 10%? So when they call you and they say, hey, we see you got a $500 credit card, you haven't paid for 6 months, the interest has increased the cost of this $500 credit card, which is nothing because interest is just something they say, we're gonna tack on because you owe us. And now your interest has increased it, so it's $700, $800, and they say, hey, we'll settle this $800 for you for a one-time payment of $375. You're like, man, what? You're gonna do better than half? They say, okay, listen, we understand it's a difficult time. You say, well, I'm gonna negotiate. What about 300? They're like, bet, we'll pay it off for 300. They are still making 250 bucks. When you buy it for a dime on the dollar, you only have to get a couple right. You only have to get a few right? In order for you to be able to make profit. So if you buy 1,000 loans for 1,000 loans, $500,000 in debt for 5,000 bucks, 2,500 bucks, whatever it ends up being, when you buy it that way, then you are going to make profit when you collect. Us, as consumers, we need to figure out what's going on. Here's another thing that businesses don't do. Here's something that Hertz says we're not doing. I don't care how many times you come to us. We're not paying off bad debt. Listen, if we owe you money and you can no longer provide us with the service that you did before, to which we came on and started doing business with you, if you can't provide us with that service or that benefit anymore, we're not paying you any more money. We don't care. It doesn't matter what you say. You don't have value to us, and it doesn't make sense to pay it. You have to do the same thing. Listen, you were getting cable, right? You got behind on your bill and you disconnected this cable service. And then they tell you you got late payment fees. They didn't shut it off for 6 months. You told them, listen, I'm not gonna be able to pay this anymore. They were like, we don't care, we want this money. Like, get it in blood. You ain't gonna tell me that I owe you $300 a month for the last 6 months and I wasn't getting anything from you? And all I'm doing is paying for your imagination? I'm already paying for access, which is stupid because it's television. But now you're saying I owe you, what's that? 6 times 3 is 18? I owe you $1,800 for something I didn't use? It's gonna impact your credit. I don't care. Put it on there. It's gonna go away. No, I'm not gonna pay it. I'm not even gonna negotiate that. No, that's gonna go away. Yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait. Let it get to wherever it's going. Here's the thing. This threat to your personal credit is designed to keep you in fear. Companies, when you handle your life like a business, one, your purchases grow your value. Your money grows. You put it in places where it can work. When you put money in the stock market, you can get a margins account. You wanna know how to borrow money? You wanna know how to work leverage? Put $5,000 in a brokerage account and then ask them to make it a margins account. And then they give you a match. They say, okay, here's another $5,000. Here's a straightforward example. They give you another $5,000. You take half of that $5,000 because they charge a really small bit of interest on it, and you don't use it to trade, you use it to invest. You now have invested your money and somebody else's money towards your future. So when the dividends are paid, the $2,500 that you invested of somebody else's money gets the same dividend, right? So if you're getting a $5 return on the $2,500 investment, when you look at the fact that you have $7,500 invested, you're getting a $15 return. All of the return is yours. That's how you use other people's money. That's how you leverage. That's how you take what you invest to grow. And then you reinvest that and you let it keep stacking. So why is that relevant? Because in this situation, when your creditor, the company through which you've gotten the margin, comes to you and says, hey, for the year, you owe us $14.75 for the $2,500 you borrowed. You're like, okay, I made $5 a quarter. I made 20 bucks. I'm still up $13 and I'm still up $3.20. Doesn't sound like much, but keep growing it. What happens when it's 25,000? When it's 250,000? When it's 2.5 million? This is what I'm talking about, is if you learn to take your money and teach your money to make money, to invest your money, and these are simple. These are some of the simplest ways of just learning the difference between investing and trading, between investing and gambling, but we'll discuss that more. But what I'm trying to share with you right now is when it comes to handling debt, do not pay dead debt. No company pays dead debt. No company pays debt for something that they're not going to get a return in. They'll be like, so what? How you, listen, I don't know how many of y'all are old enough to remember Blockbusters, but when you saw Blockbusters going out of business and closing shops in your area, and then they sent you a, hey, you gotta pay your bill for next month. You're like, y'all ain't gonna be here next month. Yeah, right. They're like, hey, you haven't paid your bill in 3 months. Y'all ain't been open in a year. Like, do you understand? This is what I'm talking about. You don't pay bad debt. You don't pay into something that you're not gonna be able to recover. It's important to be able to understand that, because this is how businesses handle debt. Now, once you've done those things, once you've done those restructures, another thing Hertz did is Hertz was like, hey, people haven't been traveling for 3 years. They haven't been traveling for a while. We got cars sitting on our lots with less than 1,000 miles on them. Let's sell them. They're 3 years old, less than 1,000 miles, let's sell them. They start selling them to dealerships. If you remember, coming out of COVID, you can get a car. If you were looking for a certified pre-owned, you can get a car close to nothing coming out of COVID. Just for a little while though. Everyone thought that they were the cars that came from the floods and the factories and they had water damage. Some of them were, but some of them were Hertz simply saying, we can't carry these anymore, let's sell them. They sold them to other rental car companies. They sold them back. They just brought in as much money as they could from selling off of these things that no longer have value. All of y'all sitting here talking about, yo, I'm good, and you sitting there with phones, tablets, TVs, printers, old computers, stuff you ain't gonna never use again. Stuff you keep talking about, no, I'm gonna fix it up. No, you're not. You're sitting here holding this stuff, and you say it got sentimental value, and somebody say, tell me the story behind it. Oh, it used to belong to my grandpa. Okay, what's the story behind this thing that you're holding? It used to belong to my grandpa. What's the freaking story? Because if it has sentimental value, it should have a story. I'm not angry. I'm not. I'm passionate. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. Is when we start doing this, we're holding on to money. Houses, your family left your house. You don't want to live there. You don't want to go there. Don't nobody else want it. I don't want that headache. Okay, it's just throwing money away. Just let it, I don't know, let it go to waste. We drive past them every day, people. Man, who owns that? I don't know. Figure it out. Let's find out. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if they have enough sense to get rid of it. No, I don't want to do that. Right? Things are losing value. And they're losing value, and we refuse to part with them for some unknown reason. Just hoarding trash. Hey, listen, look, I want to talk to you real quick. If you still got a drawer, I need you to listen to me. If you still got a drawer in your kitchen with the USB-A charging block in it, if you still got this drawer in your kitchen and it's got the charging block with the fat side on the back of it, and you're like, well, no, I don't know when I'm gonna need this, upgrade, get rid of that thing. Hey, care about the environment, recycle it, I don't care. Here's what I'm trying to say to you, is we're holding on the trash. How long, when everybody went to the way back, everybody started using them little micro USB, the little flat one to charge phones, how many of you were still holding on to the little circle one with the little pin in the middle? Because you remember, every phone, every mobile phone had a different charging device until they made it standard that they have to be the same. So every time you got a phone, you had to get a new charger. If you still got a drawer of them little stupid chargers with the little circle pin on it, get rid of it. This is what we do. This is how we lose, is we hold on to stuff. Donate it, just get it out your house. Recycle it. It doesn't matter. We have to learn to let things go. This is how we stay in debt, is because you have things of value and you won't let go of them for no reason. And it just started raining. I don't know how hard this rain is going to get. I can't afford to have my phone drowned out here this morning. So, what does this teach us? What does this tell us? It teaches us that in order for us to take actions, in order for us to truly see where we're going to go and where we're going to be, we have to be proactive about it, right? We have to understand, like Hertz did, listen, it might look some kind of way, but I'm gonna be here tomorrow. It might look some kind of way today, but I'm gonna still be here tomorrow. That's the message that Hertz had. That's what Hertz shared. Hertz was like, I get it. You're looking at me right now and you're seeing somebody in trouble. I'm looking at you right now and I'm telling you, I know what my future is and I need to move these things. Everybody, do you know the number one way people hold on to bad debt? The number one reason people do it. They do it out of shame. I don't want to tell nobody I'm in debt. I don't want nobody to know what I'm going through. What are the neighbors going to think? Listen, I'm going to say this as nice as I can possibly say it. Fuck your neighbors. Listen, if they ain't paying your debt, they ain't giving you money, putting it in your pocket, they ain't raising your kids. Listen, I don't care how much you like them, how much y'all get along, and how much y'all got in common. You got to handle your business. I've been there. I've lived in a car. I've gotten put out, set out in the yard in apartment complexes. I've had people come over and say, hey man, I can't do much, but can I offer you some money so your family's got a place to stay for the night? Dude, that was stupid of me because I had things that I could sell that had value. The crap of mine that they set out in front of the freaking apartment, I could have sold and paid the rent. Could have cut off cable. Could have went to a basic phone plan. There are things you can do, and we're so busy thinking about how somebody gonna look at us that we ain't looking at us. You've got to stop it. You got to start to think like a business. You have to understand it's not about how things look, it's about how things actually are. You want to manage your debt, you got to think right. You have to understand I have to stop living the way I'm living. I can't keep using my future to purchase items that aren't going to have this value in my future. So after you understand that, hey, I need to negotiate. I either need to get these people to reduce the cost, reduce the interest, or whatever the case may be. I need to settle this for less than it is because I ain't got it. I had a credit card company call me one time over a $5,000 credit card, and they say, hey, how can we set up a payment? I'm like, okay, well, what's the interest? How much does it grow? And they say, okay, we can set up anything. Can you do $25? Can you do $50 a month? I'm like, okay, well, what's $50 a month? And they were like, okay, well, if you do $50 a month, here's the payoff plan. And they told me it's gonna take 25 years. What? Wait a minute. No, but here's what happened. If you agree to the payment plan, we'll return your loan to good standing on your credit, and you can continue to apply for new credit, and you can, what? And as you increase your income, you can always pay more towards what? Am I gonna still be able to use the credit card? Oh, no, we've closed it, but it's still collecting interest. You can suck no. I don't never want nothing from you no more. Why? Because I had the wrong mindset. I had the wrong approach, and I got myself into that situation. I'm not paying you $5,000. I'm not paying you a penny towards something you're telling me I can't use in the future. I'm never getting this money back. It's gone. The money's gone. The stuff that I bought with it's been set out in front of my freaking apartment. I don't have the stuff or the money or the use of the card. And you want me to pay you $50 a month for the next 25 years? My children, no, I'm not doing that, no. Catch me outside. Ain't that what they say? See how tough that was? I said it. I said, catch me outside. Y'all see how tough I was? No. Am I telling you to go out here and just not pay your debts? No. If that's what you're hearing, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying, one, manage your life like a business. Don't get here. If you are here, it's not the end of the world. There are things you can do. There are approaches, there are tactics, there are strategies that you can take that will help you get to where you need to be and where you want to be. But you have to be active in achieving and reaching those places. You have to be purposeful and meaningful in the actions you take to achieve that. So after you make the calls, you decide which debts are the ones you're going to pay and which ones aren't. You structure a payback process or a pay down process. You figure out which ones you're going to buy back, which ones you're just going to not look at. You find the things that you're going to liquidate so that you have the money to get yourself back. And during that process, for everything that you're not paying, you are investing. Because here's why. That $5,000 credit card that they told me it was going to take 25 years for me to pay with compounding interest, I did the math once and I keep forgetting it, so I keep having to do it. That $50 a month turns out to be $600 a year. That $600 a year for 10 years turns out to be $6,000. For 20 years turns out to be $12,000. And for 5 years, turns into another $3,000. So that's $21,000 of $50 a month over the next 5 years that I get over the next 25 years. It's more than that. What is that? Because it's $6,000 a year. No, it's $600 a year. That's right. Yeah. So I'm looking at this $21,000 that I'm gonna have, not considering the interest that can accrue, the value that it can grow at, the way that it can become more than what it is. I can do that, or I can give you that $50 and it not have any value to it. Man, if you don't get out my face, it doesn't make sense to pay that. That's bad debt. Don't pay bad debt. Make better use of your money. If you got 3 cards that asking you to pay $50 a month, we understand. Man, get out my face. That same time period, we're talking about amassing $60,000. Somebody say, hey, yeah, it's just gonna take you 15 years to pay off at $50 a month. I don't care if it's gonna take you 15 months. Am I gonna have this value in this money? I'm not doing it. If I'm not gonna be able to use that, that's bad debt. So we have to make decisions. And then we have to stop letting people scare us. Oh, well, your credit score is gonna take a hit. Hey, you live with a no credit score. Do you remember the first time you went to get credit? And they told you no credit is worse than bad credit? You just got bad credit now. Bad credit doesn't mean the end of the world. Bad credit means you need to make better decisions. And this is the process of doing it. This is how you get out of debt. This is how you stay out of debt. It's not just the actions that you take, it's the change of the mentality. It's the upgrade of the thought process. It's becoming better and becoming stronger. And for all of this, it takes discipline. No, I'm not saying it's super easy. The discipline part isn't. The phone calls and just the refusal to continue to grow bad debt is. Understand the value of you, your time, and what type of work you're doing, where you're headed for your future. Stop worrying about what your neighbors think about what you are doing and what you look like and what you should have. And start worrying about where you're going and what you're going to do to get there. Guys, it's super important. I want to thank you all for being here this morning and being a part of this conversation. Understand we have to start to handle our credit and handle our lives like a business. We have to know that the money that we spend, if we do not invest into our future, we are consuming it. And as long as we live as consumers, we'll continue to see ourselves travel the same path. You want to change it, you got to change it. Everyone, thank you for being here. I'm going to try to read a couple of these comments before I go. Let's go up. Rory says, go back to Africa. Okay, Rory. Simple Chris says, screw them. I think that was talking about the bad debt. Indeed. Chris also says, I'm a business. I move as such. I'm putting margin accounts on the list for the day. Check it out, get it done. Rise says, is Jesus black? I don't know what type of question that is, Rise. All accounts says Jesus was Jewish, so whatever that means. Neighbors do be mad nosy. Goodwill said Jesus is black. I guess you were talking to Rise. What does it say? No. What? No mouthy mouse it. I don't know. Rex. Let's go with Rex. Bro, I hate my neighbors. I spent so much time trying to get your name right, and you said, bro, I hate my neighbors. I'm not saying you gotta hate your neighbors. I'm just saying, stop thinking that your neighbor's opinion matters that much. Let me see. Goodwill said, how many baddies? What are you doing, Goodwill? What did he say? Nobody's in your face. Robert said, yes, man. Ali says, how are you? No, Ali. I don't think you meant how are you, my daddy. That's not, no, I'm not answering that. Robert Harper said, yes, man. This is it. Thank you so much. Ali, you got to stop. I'm feeling very weak. All right. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Thank you. Here's the thing, guys. I want everyone to understand that our growth and development is designed around, or will be designed around, what we determine is our purpose and our actions that we're going to take. We are in control of that. Stop believing that we have to do what others say we have to do without understanding what it is that we're doing. Ask questions. So one of the things that I do that my wife has shared with me, and one of the things that she appreciates that I do, is that we go into a place and there's a line. I gotta ask why. I'm not one of these people who are gonna be like, yo, it's messed up. I'm gonna start kicking chairs and stuff. No, I'm like, yo, is there, I see a manager? Right, just quick question. Why are none of the registers open? Why are all of us working for the company now? Like, we don't all work for y'all. Why is there nobody helping us check out? Can we just get, but I'm standing in this line that's 35 people deep, right? But nobody in this line has decided to say, hey, could y'all help us out? Is there anything y'all could do to stop this from happening, right? The first thing that we have to do, if we want to see a change in our life, the first thing that we have to do is we have to be prepared to take action to make that change happen. We have to be prepared to take a look at what's going on and understand that if it's happening to us, we are a part of it. And we can only be a part of it, they can only make us a part of it if we consent. So if we continue to accept what's happening, then that's why it's happening. We have to be willing to ask questions, take a look, understand, and then take action. It takes discipline. You can't put everything in your life on someone else, especially because it's your life. Let's figure out what we can do and do what we need to do. Guys, I appreciate everyone being here. As always, as I said, whatever you want to do in life, it'll take discipline. The way that you grow your discipline is through the 4 pillars: repetition, patience, consistency, and perseverance. As you can see, the apparel is now available. You can find a description you can find the link in the description for the channel. Also, if you'd like to make any contributions towards the channel's growth, you can click the link that is pinned to the chat, and it'll take you directly to where you can make contributions. Everything goes towards the growth of the channel in the future. We're moving towards monetization, where we'll open up some additional levels of connection, development, and support for everyone who is here. And make sure, guys, if you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button. Like, comment, share. It's just a great way that costs you nothing to help get the message out there. I appreciate you all for being here this morning. Thank you so much. Remy, I'm only, so I think I still got time to decide my future. You got plenty of time, but invest in your future now. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. I want you to all have a blessed and great day. And as I always say, Keep showing up, keep blowing up, keep growing up. Until next time, guys, God bless. Take care.